say life is a circle, but circles are clean, predictable. I've always said life is a square. Hard edges, sharp turns. Just when you think you've got it all figured out, you're blindsided by a corner you didn't see coming.
Jack Dogwood, you're taller than I expected.
Well, you're younger than I expected. I thought maybe you was an altar boy.
Well, they said I wouldn't make inspector before I turned 30.
Huh, and where are they now?
The unemployment line.
So why a church?
Well, why not? I figured a man like you could use a reunion with his creator.
I wonder if that's how our perp feels.
Speaking of, we should get down to business. Now, we call this man the Moonlight Ripper. He leaves a trail of carnage everywhere he goes. That's not the only thing he leaves.
Really? Does he leave notes too?
As a matter of fact, he does. One at every scene. Take a look.
So, our man fancies himself an academic.
Well, he certainly thinks himself clever.
Well, Inspector, I never met a man too clever for me.
Yeah? And if you finally met your match?
Well, if he outwits me, I'd like to see him outwit my Kill 38.
I had a new case on my hands, but it wasn't the only problem I had to solve. They say the sins of the father fall on the son, but what they don't tell you is that the sins of the son bounce right back up.
Father, this is the last time I...
There's always a last time with you, James. Sooner or later, there's going to be a last time for me, too. And guess what happens then? Your debts don't get paid, do they?
You don't understand, Father. These are dangerous people. This man I owe money to, he's a real slugger.
Oh, yeah? And what lesson is that going to teach you if I keep on paying your debts off? Your old father's going to bail you out again.
I'm not asking you for nothing. This is my life we're talking about. Father, if you do this for me, I promise I'll make it square.
Your way is what got us here. I have no interest in you making things square.
My kid owed money, and not to some nickel-and-dime huckster. Bill Applebaum, a loan shark who made his fortune bootlegging. The kind of guy whose handshake comes with brass knuckles. He tried to play it tough, but I convinced him with reason and understanding. That's what I call my left and right fists. I had this case in my gut, but it was sitting like a bad glass of milk. The Moonlight Ripper was no closer to being caught, so I went back to the inspector, praying for a lead.
So, what do you got?
The list of suspects is getting shorter by the minute.
Well, I got something that can narrow it down even more. A name. Donnie Fugazi.
I don't know him.
Well, why would you? He's a nobody with shoes. But he also happens to be our prime suspect, so I want you to tail him.
Where can I find him?
He works at a local juke joint down on Paradise. Apparently, he's employed by a local gangster. Goes by the name Bill Applebaum.
Is that so?
What, you heard of him?
It's not important right now, but I'll tell this Donnie, if that's what you want.
Donnie Fugazi was the closest thing to a real lead this case had, so I knew I had to chase it. But first I had to settle things with my son.
Your debt is settled.
You mean it? You talked to Bill?
I talked and he listened, and your business with him is finished.
Oh, Father.
And your business with me is finished also.
You don't mean that.
I do. I never want to hear from you again, and I mean it.
But I'm your son.
You're no son of mine, you're a disgrace, and I resent your mother for giving birth to you.
Oh, but Father.
Don't father me, you worthless schmuck. Getting into it with gangsters, me putting my hide on the line to bail you out. It's insanity. Me and you are through, you hear me?
But I can make things square, Father. I can make things square.
I don't want to hear it. Now I'm going to do what I should have done when you were born. Disappear.
I was tough on him, maybe too tough, but I had work to do, and I wasn't gonna let anyone get in the way. But life is a pitcher, and he loves throwing curveballs. I tailed Donnie to the bar, only to be snatched up by Applebaum's goons. The inspector wasn't just useless, he was crooked. He'd been on the Applebaum's payroll the whole time. He had fed me to the wolves, and I walked right into their cave. Lucky for me, I found a way out of it with reason and understanding. 2 days later, the inspector himself was caught by the Moonlight Ripper. The Ripper always left a note at the scene, and I wondered what he'd drawn up for the inspector. so I went to see for myself.